All right. Hello out there. Let's see if I did this correctly. Hey, it's my face. Hello, Sarge. Hello, Stuart. How's it going? Thank you for dropping by. Just doing a super casual thing. And Stuart, that's totally fine if you're lurking. Don't worry about it. Like I said, we got kind of a wacky schedule. I was not available for 4 o'clock today, and Django has had a crazy schedule the last couple of weeks. Hey, Sin, welcome. Good to see you here. Sorry, this is like super last minute. But yeah, so we've been, if you haven't noticed, things have been a little slow at the channel. Hopefully things will pick back up, but I figured I'd just hang out and talk and see what's going on with all of you in the Star Wars world. I got things I can talk about, but like general things for all of you, anybody who wants to talk. I put out on Twitter on our Port Haven account asking what Star Wars thing is making you happy today. So if you guys wanted to opine on what that is, I would love to hear from you guys, or just kind of some general Star Wars thoughts if you have anything you want to talk about. Otherwise, I was just going to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit, at least at the beginning, about like Galaxy's Edge, and I don't just mean the park. I mean like the whole project. I can show you here the advantages, one of the few advantages of doing this from a laptop. You can see my Black Spire poster there, which I'm super excited about. I cannot wait to read Black Spire. And like Black Spire and Crash of Fate already have advanced copies out, and like that means the book is basically done. Like both books are done, and I'm so pumped to read them. And I remember when this stuff was getting launched that there were some people who were feeling kind of bummed out. Like the books and comics were making them feel down because they can't go to Galaxy's Edge. And I understand that. Like, I definitely don't want to make anybody feel bad for feeling that way, because I definitely get feeling like, like you could never make it to the park. But honestly, like the books and comics and everything have me really excited. I know the Galaxy's Edge comic has started. I don't usually read comics until they're in trade, so I probably won't read that one for a while. But I love that all of this stuff is coming out. Like I I am going to make it a goal to go to Galaxy's Edge before I die. I really don't know when that is, when I'm going to make it to the park. It might be like 20 years. There's no, always in motion is the future. I could win the lotto and go tomorrow, so we don't know. I mean, I won't, because I haven't played the lotto, and you have to like play the lotto to win it. But assuming I played the lotto, I could go sooner. But I'm excited to at least have the books, because like the books are. Thank you, Sarge. I actually saw like a bunch of this specific shirt at Celebration. I took it to Celebration and then I didn't wear it because because like a bunch of people were wearing. Yes, you're right. Yeah, Alphabet Squadron's coming out. I have a list here. Hold on, where is my list? Dang it, I have so many things open. Alphabet Squadron comes out in June, or this month, a couple of days on the 11th. July 23rd is Thrawn Treason, which I'm really excited about. August 6th is Crash of Fate and Myth and Fables by George Mann. That book is kind of sleeping. I feel like a lot of people are not remembering that is coming out, and I'm actually really excited for that one. 27th of August is Black Spire by Dawson. And then October 4th is Spark of Resistance, also the next Choose Your Destiny book. And then we have Resistance Reborn and Force Collector in November. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out that I'm really excited about. But like, I think it's cool that they're releasing these books about the theme park. And like, yeah, I mean, it's not like that intrinsically good. Like, at the end of the day, Disney is a corporation. Yeah, they just want to make money. Yeah, they know they can sell books based on their theme park. And yeah, I guess I can see why you would think that sounds ridiculous to release books about a theme park. But I just think it's cool. I think it's a way, regardless of what their true intentions are, it's a way for everyone to be a part of the story at the park, regardless of whether or not they can go. Sorry, I just hit my mic. Because, like, as I understand it, the park is one day, and like every day at Galaxy's Edge that same day plays out. And so Black Spire, at least the novel, is supposed to set up what's going on that day. That's my understanding. I think they've been a little cagey about it. I think A Crash of Fate is just supposed to be the atmosphere at Black Spire Outpost in general, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I agree, Sen. And like, I've heard from people that are there, like if you go into the main cantina, if you can actually get into the main cantina at Galaxy's Edge, the walls are scored as if the fight in Thrawn Alliances actually happened. Like the markings on the wall and everything match up to the book. I don't know that that's true, but I saw somebody tweeting about that. And I thought that was really cool. So that's cool. Stuart, am I remembering correctly that you're across the pond from me? Because you might have a better shot at going to the Paris park, if that's the case. I mean, obviously you could go to whichever one you want, but like I know Paris is getting a Galaxy's Edge. I think it's another couple of years down. Like I think it might be 2021 or 2022, but that might be more feasible. Yeah. The amount of they put so much detail into the park. I want to go so badly, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll double check for you right now, but I am 90% sure Galaxy's Edge is coming to Paris. Galaxy's Edge, Paris. We're gonna find out together right now. Yeah, 2.5 billion Disneyland Paris expansion, Star Wars, Frozen, and Marvel. I'm seeing from Disney Tourist blog. What do we got here? This is exciting stuff. Me reading a blog on stream. Multi-year development park is now phasing. Rollout phases beginning in 2021. Actually, the big where's like the actual? I'm not seeing like an actual date, but oh yeah, and they're gonna build a Galaxy's Edge in Paris, is what it's saying. Here, this might be more interesting to you if I just sent you the link. Where did Chrome go? There's Chrome. Hey, Girls with Sabers are here! Oh my gosh. And Andy, oh my gosh, so many great people. It is so great to see all of you. Guys, Girls with Sabers has like the most insane, in-depth, cool, like, stuff ever. I would say check their channel out, but to be frank, if you're here, you probably already know about them. But if you don't, you should check out their channel, because, oh my gosh. But yes, yeah. So for those of you on the European continent, there will be one coming to Paris. So that would be way better. Hey, no problem. I'm presuming that it's not both of the girls with sabers sitting at the computer at the same time, but it's possible, I suppose. You get to play the same fun game I do when I go to people's chats from this account. It's like, is it YB or Django? You'll never know. You can get to that one easier, but the English one. That's fair. Although I would assume that I obviously have never been to Disneyland Paris, but I would assume it's pretty bilingual, because I would think, if not multilingual, because like all of Europe would go there. I mean, yeah, it's solid. I highly recommend. They get like we get in depth here, but like we get in depth within Star Wars. They're one of the channels that's like, here's other texts. It's Emrys. Okay, well, it's great to talk to you, Emrys. Thank you for being here. You gotta fly? Oh, well, have a good day. I always appreciate your like and goes, so thank you for dropping by. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. And I kind of wonder, because obviously we're getting the Galaxy's Edge in Anaheim, or we have that, and then we're getting the one in Orlando. And then the Paris one, I kind of wonder just how similar they're going to be. Like, is it going to actually be the same layout? Like, I would assume they'd all have the same attractions. I'm kind of curious, because my dad was watching, like, some business thing a ways back, and somebody was interviewing Iger, and they're expanding, they're either expanding Disneyland in Shanghai or building a Disneyland in Shanghai. I am not educated enough to know which one it was, but it was funny because the interview was about Galaxy's Edge, but he talked about how like they're bringing stuff to Shanghai, but didn't talk about Galaxy's Edge, and I'm really curious if they would build a Galaxy's Edge there, because Star Wars has not been doing well in that particular film market. So I'm kind of curious if they would actually invest in building one there. And August is Orlando. You went to Paris Disney World. It was all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I've only ever been to the Orlando one. But I was much younger, so like I remember having a good time, but I was a little kid, so it wasn't that hard to impress me. They are expanding in Shanghai. Thank you. It was one of the two. I couldn't remember. They will definitely be getting a Marvel Land in Shanghai, because Marvel movies just destroy in that movie market by a lot. That's part of why the Avengers films have killed it in box office. Is the China market is just, they're hugely popular there. But Star Wars has not, other than Force Awakens, like broke a bunch of records. Largely because the Star Wars movies haven't been doing well in international markets, which is the thing people don't really talk about. Why can't Disney just build a separate Galaxy's Edge in England? Right, you'd think it'd be easier just to, like, instead of having one park, like, put a Galaxy's Edge here, an Avengers Land there, a Toy Story Land over there. And then you could charge people like more admission instead of like just the price of admission to get in the park. There's got to be some marketing strategy there. That makes me think of, anybody else ever play Rollercoaster Tycoon? I used to play Rollercoaster Tycoon a lot as a kid, and if you didn't know, I'll show you this. There's a great Rollercoaster Tycoon app for mobile. It's so good. It is literally, it's called Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic, and it's literally Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 and 2 mashed together. So if you are a big Rollercoaster Tycoon fan like me, like, this is the app you want. But anyway, I remember like making parks and places and having to figure stuff out and make things fit into like weird limited space. So that was my random plug. You can get Rollercoaster Tycoon. Disney should just replace the rest of the park in America with Galaxy. Right. Yeah, it's on like, I mean, it's already on 14 acres, and I really wonder if it opened on 14 acres, because that's a lot, or if there's just that much room to expand. Is it 14? Now I'm doubting myself with knowing that number. We're going to go with it, though. We're going to go with that one. I feel like 50% on that, so we'll go with that number. But just in general, and this is something that Django and I are going to talk about at an undetermined time on a StreamCast in the future, is just like how Star Wars tells these stories over multiple formats and how they feed into each other. So like, you can enjoy things separately. You can go to the park and not have read any of the books, or you can just read the Galaxy's Edge books. But that they are taking the time to integrate things so much. And it can't be just for dollars and cents, because like putting Maul in Solo was a risk, but it was a risk that the vast majority of people that enjoyed Solo, I think, either liked that cameo or didn't mind it. I feel like the only people who didn't like it were the people who just didn't like the movie or didn't want to like things. So I think it's cool how they really are committed to weaving a story like this. And that's the type of thing, too, that makes me think of how canon works. Because with Star Wars canon, it's this weird thing where you're sending it out in so many different ways. And the story group does a phenomenal job. Like, this is no shade on the story group at all. But it's difficult for the story group, I feel like, to keep things together. And inevitably, you're going to have some canon issues. Like, like Ahsoka, in the Ahsoka novel, where she's describing the Battle of Mandalore, her sabers are green because they're green in the show. And then if you've seen the trailer for the upcoming season of the Clone Wars, her sabers are blue. And that's, a canon problem. Presumably, I haven't seen the show, so maybe it works out. Maybe they go back to green or something. But right now it's looking like that's going to be a small canon hiccup. But, we got an Ahsoka novel when we didn't think we were going to get any more Ahsoka for a while. Or we certainly didn't think we were going to get that story. And, I wouldn't want to take the novel back. And if that came with one minor color detail, that's not a big deal. I mean, if you go back to the Empire Strikes Back novelization, I'm pretty sure that Yoda is blue in the Empire Strikes Back novelization because it was based on the script and he was blue instead of green, Decision was Dave Filoni's to make. Pablo and crew had to approve of it and change the line in future prints. Yeah, and that's just how it goes. And like for me, I think so many people either want canon to just be absolutely perfect, which it can't ever be because humans are doing it and it is fiction, and there are going to be problems. But at the same time, I don't want it to become something where everything is just like different at all the time. Like I like the idea that the stories really do impact each other, and I think Star Wars has always walked that tightrope well, especially in the new canon. I think they did fine in Legends. There were definitely mistakes made in Legends that necessarily came from writing a bunch of books before Lucas did the prequel trilogy and other things. But I really don't think they did poorly, all things considered, and they learned a lot, and I think part of why the new canon has been so strong is because they had another canon to make their mistakes on. You know what I mean? Like, I usually refer to Legends as, like, Draft 1. And now we're in Draft 2. You know what I mean? If they didn't approve it, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just not big noticeable ones, exactly. Like, there are issues and things get worked out, and it's fine. But that doesn't mean, like, give up and not have canon. But I also think it's important to, like, not freak out at every tiny little thing. Usually what bothers me with canon is when people need to take things so literally. I think I've complained about this before, but when Clone Wars came out, it was the rather, hey, there's another welcome. It's not always storage group time. Writers can make mistakes. Yeah, like writers can make mistakes, and editors can miss it, and the story group can miss it, or sometimes they have to make decisions because it is just the better story to tell. Like, if the story is better with Ahsoka having blue sabers in season 7, and that undoes one sentence in one novel, I think that's more important. Now, if they were to release a movie that just ignored 20 of the books somehow, I'd be annoyed. But there's a difference in scale. But what I was saying is, in Star Wars Clone Wars season 2, the season with the Ryloth episodes, it might be season 3, it doesn't really matter. Mace Windu goes to Ryloth and says a line about it's going to take a planetary rotation or 3 planetary rotations or something like that. And at the time, it was canon that Ryloth was tide locked and it didn't rotate, and that there was a side of the planet that was perpetually in the sun and a side of the planet that was perpetually in darkness. And you literally, like, the only survivable part of the planet was this ring of dusk everywhere around the planet. And I really liked that idea. It's a really cool idea. But then Mace Windu in Clone Wars just says, well, 3 planetary rotations, and they had to change Ryloth, and they had to, like, take away all this lore from all of these great comics. And my opinion on it wasn't that Clone Wars is terrible because the blah 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 canon. Like, I didn't feel that way at all. But I didn't get why you had to change it. Because to me, saying 3 planetary rotations is just space talk for days. In the same way, like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Pink 5 fan films from back in the day when people liked fan films and didn't make fun of them all the time. They're amazing, and there's a part where they make fun of the Battle of Yavin, and you hear I think it must be Red Leader, and he's like, pick up your visual scanning, and the pilot is like, why do you say pick up your visual scanning? Can't you just say look around? And pick up your visual scanning is just like space for look, right? And that's fine. Like in Star Wars, we have really weird ways of saying very simple things. So Mace Windu can go to Ryloth and say 3 planetary rotations, and just means space for 3 days, and say that because every other planet in the galaxy functions that way, and he just said it, and it would have been fine. Like what I don't get is why characters can't be wrong. Like, we always have to do this complicated retcon or change things, and it can't ever be the character was wrong. That's the one part about canon that bothers me, and I don't know that that's a story group's fault. I think that's like fans sometimes really need everything to be super literal, and it's like there's a difference between the narrator saying it and characters saying it. And I get into this a lot too, just to like keep really drastically changing the subject a lot, but who cares? I say this a lot when people are talking about like what balance of the Force means, or what dark side and light side mean, or if dark side and light side are good or evil or whatever. I always tell people that personally, I don't take the vast majority of what the Jedi or the Sith say, and any Jedi, any Sith say about the Force, I take like with a whole salt shaker, much less a grain of salt. Because when you talk to the Jedi are biased. With how they see the Force, and if you talk to a Sith, the Sith are biased with how they see the Force. Like when I'm talking about how the Force works, I look at the Mortis trilogy, because in the Mortis trilogy, it's one of the few cases where you have people that are so infused and ingrained with the Force that are not Jedi or Sith, that are not ideological. Another character would be like the Bendu from Rebels, but I feel like he's also kind of in a bad spot and grumpy, and I kind of take things he says with like a teensy, like single grain of salt, but he'd be similar. And also because Mortis was taken like directly from George Lucas's notes about the Force and made under George Lucas's direction. So like with Mortis, you have these 3 episodes of the Clone Wars that are so unique, and that they are literally made from George Lucas's mind on what the Force means, and they're told from the most reliable, the most unbiased narrators we could possibly have for the Force. Hey Jacob, welcome! Thank you for dropping in. And that's why I consider what happens in those episodes to be so important. And like, I think I drive people nuts because whenever we talk about the Force, I like go on and on and on and on about Mortis, and I'll like ignore major quotes from everybody else. Does that make Bendu the Zero of Rebels? Only if he repeats the same message like 5 times in the same month because he ran out of video ideas. I mean, I don't throw shade on this channel, I'm sorry. Some of the best episodes. Yeah, Mortis is great episodes. Those episodes blew my mind. I watched those on TV when I was in college, and I remember walking the halls of my dorm, like, cause I was so shook, I couldn't think. Like, I had to like, I just did laps up and down the hall, because I was so, like, my world was utterly rocked the first time I saw those episodes. And I was like, I feel like everything I know about Star Wars has changed, and I didn't know how I felt. And now, to this day, I'm like, these episodes, man, I am fascinated by the Sun's arc in those Girls was yes, Emerus, like, for real, though. Sky Novi's here! Welcome! Man, so many friends. Oh, boy. Sky Novi is another one with a fantastic channel, and there is another is trying to get his channel up and off the ground, last I checked. Unless I know you worked on an intro, but I don't know if I've missed videos from you yet. Yeah, no, I get into those a lot. But yeah, and like I was saying, with Mortis, I think they're important because they're just an unbiased place. You don't mean to throw shade either, or a grain of salt in the wordplays there. I'm sorry, it's fine. It's fine. Django and I will both, every now and again, let something slide. We try to really be the refuge that, like, talks about our own stuff and doesn't do stuff. You have 3 videos up and I've missed them? Dang it! I am terrible. I'm so sorry. I will go check them out later today. I promise. I'm so sorry. Everyone else should check them out too. Well, dude, that's like health is important though. I hope you feel better. But yeah, no, that'll get you every time. Um, Not as dire as bad health, but I remember when Solo came out, I had a really bad cold. And if you go back and watch all of my Solo videos, like I am just barely sounding like I'm not dying in those videos. But I had to do them because they were time sensitive. Like if I didn't do a review of Solo when it came out, it wasn't gonna get them clicks. Um, and so I remember I was watching Solo and I felt horrible because I'm in seeing the movie and everyone's trying to enjoy the movie for the first time. And I'm like coughing through the whole movie. I was that person because I was ill. Don't judge people in movies, guys. Maybe you can a little bit, but you know. Yes! Master and Apprentice. I got it on my shelf. How good was it though? It was so good. I think it's my favorite novel now. Phasma had that top slot for a long time. Like it was like Phasma and Inferno Squad and Bloodline were like my big three. But I think Phasma was ultimately on top, which is why I'm really excited for Black Spire. But like Master and Apprentice was just perfection. I loved that. I'm probably gonna reread it again this summer if I'm being completely honest. I'm letting it digest a little bit longer before I reread it. But I'm gonna want to read it again because it was everything I wanted, and I had really high expectations. Like I walked into that book expecting it to be my new favorite, and it was still my new favorite. So there you go. Is the Cheez-Its novel any good? It looks interesting. Yeah, it's a really good read. It's a really good read. I'm a big fan of my Cheez-Its box, actually. I'll show you first. It really gets everyone's attention. It cracks me up. But yeah, this is my Cheez-Its box. They expired. I didn't eat any of them. When did they expire? They expired in October of 2016. So I would not recommend eating them. It has BB-8 on the other side. I got these. I was literally walking down the aisle of my grocery store, and it was one of those, I walked past it, and then I stopped and backed up and grabbed it because it was Kylo. Actually, Imrus, have I ever shown you like all of my Kylo shrines? I know you would appreciate. Up there is my Kylo shrine. It's hard to see everything because our boy wears black and he's hard to see. But I got like a Funko, and I got some of those vitamin, like if you've seen the Star Wars Space Punch going around, my boss actually bought me these with Kylo on it. It was really funny. He was like, I bought you something. I'm like, all right. And I couldn't even complain. They don't taste good though. And then I also have this. This is a blanket over my window. See, I knew you'd like it. Okay, I'm getting behind on everybody else now. It's gonna be want to finish Guardians of the Whills and then start Alphabet Squadron Jedi. Guardians of the Whills is really good. I haven't read it in at least a year. I can't remember how long ago I read it. It might be longer than a year. But I really, really liked it. I'm excited to start Alphabet Squadron. I'm at the mercy of my library because I have been buying too many things. And I had to do something from the library. And unfortunately for Alphabet Squadron, that one is going to be a library read. So once my library gets it in, I'm going to read it. And then Jedi Lost was great. You're still thinking of a way to display Briar's ice cream. Yeah, it's like, I suppose you could like drain it out of the bottom and then just display the carton. But yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, the Kylo. I loved Kylo before I saw Force Awakens, and I am a big Revan fangirl. Like I love Knights of the Old Republic, and Revan has always been one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And then lo and behold, here comes this new villain in like Revan armor. But like, if it was possible, they made the Revan mask cooler, and I was like, I don't know who this character is, but he is now my favorite. Saw Force Awakens, loved him completely, and then spent 2 years listening to people make fun of him for being emo Darth Vader, and which is not wrong, but also not an insult. And then I saw The Last Jedi, and I was like, oh, I'm validated. Hey, Rayo, welcome! Thank you for dropping by. It's good to see you. Thank you. How are you today? We're just gushing over all things Star Wars related. right now. And I'm talking about my obsession for Star Wars things. You went to something. Can you bring me up? I was mostly, I think I was just showing off all of my merch with Kylo Ren on it. I think that was the main thing that you missed. To be honest. But I enjoy them quite a bit. At some point, I'm gonna need to get your guys' advice. I'm not ready to do it today, but I have a bunch of posters I need to put up, and I should just do a stream where I hang the posters, and you guys tell me what part of my wall to put them on. I think that might be a good use of my time in the future. But I want to get a couple of them framed. I have, yeah, I mean, I can kind of, it's a mess, but I can show you another advantage to the laptop. So this is the recording space. Unplug. Let's just walk around with my really expensive laptop. I think that's a good life choice. Captain America, Winter Soldier Edition. TV with my beverage on it. Closet. So this room was designed when I was much younger, and I had a nice lady come in and paint a bunch of stuff on my walls. This is a mirror image. This is how meteorologists feel, and it's freaking me out. So I have a bunch of actual art painted on my walls, which is really cool. And then it's surrounded by other crap in my room. It's a picture of a frog. Those are college memories. Star Wars, other favorite things. 24, that's where the Bauer comes from. James Bond, Star Wars things, Bioshock poster, Fringe posters, Hail Hydra, exactly. I have a bunk bed, 'cause I don't need one. I just want one. I don't care that I'm a full-grown adult. With a bunk bed. Actually, I have it because I don't, if I have company over, I don't really have anywhere for them to sleep. So I have a bunk bed. That's my reason, but really I'm just a grown adult with a bunk bed. I remember watching the Lego movie, and Emmett was like, my super cool idea is a double-decker couch, and I was like, a double-decker couch is a great idea. And then everyone in the movie was like, that's stupid, and I'm like, no, it's a great idea. So I was with Emmett. So I have a bunk bed, because I'm a large child. And then this is my tank. Oh, you can see my lizard. Hold on. Let's do this. This is my crate dragon. I actually pronounce it crat, because I think crate is a stupid pronunciation. Hold on, my headphones are in the way. But there's my baby. Say hi, he's sleeping. And then this is where all his stuff is. At some point, I'm going to do this up nicer. And then all of this stuff in this area is super weird looking. That's the general tour of the room. How old am I? I am 28. So I am very much an adult that lives like a child. Don't even care. I'm happy. I enjoy my room quite a bit. Have I seen the... Two can play that! Welcome! I didn't see you come in if that's not your first comment, but welcome if it is. Good to see you. I have seen the Ewok movies. I saw them in high school, so I saw them mid-high school, so I saw them 12 years ago. So I super don't remember them well, but I remember thinking they were really fun. I've been meaning to track down a copy because Django and I have done a lot of content on the holiday special, and we thought it would be fun to do content on the Ewok movies, but we have to get copies, and they don't make more copies, so we have to find stuff. I have a dragon, it's true. I am the mother of dragons. I could make a joke here, but I don't know if everyone's caught up on Game of Thrones. I am not caught up on Game of Thrones, and by that I mean I've never watched an episode, but because I'm on the internet, I know everything that happens in the last season. And I could probably fake a conversation with you about it. You are 20, very shortly, don't have to, it's fine. What is age? You see, I do have a Furby. I do have a Furby, it is true. You have the VHS of Ewok Adventure. That is awesome. They are available digitally on well, that was the one thing I didn't look. So I will have to check that out, because then Django and I can both really easily get copies. Because that would be awesome. I mean, I'd still like something for the shelf, but that means we wouldn't have to delay on Ewok stuff. For the last 2 Christmases that we've had the channel, we've done holiday special things. The first Christmas, we showed it to two of my friends who had never seen it before, and it was great because one of them loved it and the other one hated it, and we did like a side-by-side of them watching, which is obviously on the channel somewhere. And then last year we watched it live, which was fun. Oh, and ignore Lobot. Lobot, what you talking about? I would remove the comment, but I'm afraid it's just gonna like mute Lobot. But ignore Lobot, that's from last week. You were waiting for the last season to happen before you watched Game of Thrones. Try watching a couple years ago and couldn't understand it. That's fair. I've heard that there's a lot going on. One of these days I might watch it, but like I literally know how the whole thing ends now, so we'll see. But I probably will, if we're being honest. What on earth? There's like a red. What is that? Oh, it's an OBS thing. Okay, never mind. I was seeing something weird on my monitor, but it's just an OBS thing, so there you go. Last week, that never happened. Nope, and I'm never going to publish it. Yeah, we did a StreamCast last week, in case you were looking through the channel, and you're like, where's StreamCast, episode 50? It, like, died. I am not married at all, except for in my heart, to Sergeant Curry Pants. But we are not legally married, for many reasons. One of which is she lives on a different continent. But no, I'm not. I'm very single, but that's fine. I much prefer it that way, to be honest. But what was I even talking about? I was going on about something. I think I was talking about OBS things. But oh yeah, last week we were doing a streamcast and it like OBS quit on us partway through. We will make that streamcast up. Next week we might be doing something different. I have some friends who've been to Galaxy's Edge and I was hoping to talk to them and see if they'd talk to us about Galaxy's Edge, and I don't know what week that's going to be. But we will be making up the Jedi Lost stream soon. And yeah, no, I'm good. And yeah, like I said, I'm just in my heart to Sergeant Curry Pants. Lobot is you in math class. But yeah, what other Star Wars things can we go on about? Oh, I should wear my badge. Neil from Twitter made me a badge because he's like the coolest guy ever. I should wear these on my streams. It makes me happy. I don't know, if you're on Star Wars Twitter, you know who Neil is. It is Kathleen Kennedy's birthday today, which is pretty amazing. She is like the actual coolest person. Kathleen Kennedy, like her first Star Wars celebration she went to, at least as president of Lucasfilm, I think it was one of the Europe ones. She walked by the droid builders, and it was before Force Awakens came out, and she walked by the droid builders and was like, these people make droids, like movie quality droids, for fun in their spare time. Imagine what they could do with like resources and money. And like a bunch of the droids, if not most of the droids in The Force Awakens, were made by like fans. Because she was like, why wouldn't we do this? Which I thought was really cool. I also read a story, I can't remember where I read it, but it was like she was hanging out with Steven Spielberg, as one does. I do it every Saturday. Hanging out with Stevie, and he got a phone call. This was years ago. He got a phone call saying somebody found his old Super 8 films because they moved into the house he lived in as a kid, and they gave them back to him. And he was like, well, what am I going to do with all these Super 8 movies? And they checked the local paper, and some kids had just won a Super 8 film festival. And Kathleen was like, you should just hire these kids to clean up your Super 8 film, because you have to clean film and maintain it and stuff. And he was like, all right. And one of the kids that he invited over was J.J. Abrams. So, I mean, she's pretty amazing. She's not perfect at her job, but that doesn't make her unqualified. Run about half the hours here. No. Well, and no one's perfect. I mean, that's just a thing. And, like, there have been a couple of, like, I will always be salty about the lack of marketing campaign for Solo. I don't know if that was her. I don't know if that was Disney and Iger. I don't, mistakes were made. I don't know who made them. But, you know, whatever. And, like, yeah, they've hired some people that didn't work out, but, like, so, you know, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. Hey, Darkrai, welcome! Good to see you. Happy to have you drop by. How are you doing? I think I was lurking in ref earlier, so I've kind of seen you today, but how are you? We've just been discussing really anything Star Wars that pops into anyone's head. Is what it is. Oh, speaking of Sarge, that's the Mona Nikita on my wall. Isn't it beautiful? There you go. Sarge, I'm never taking that down. That is on my wall forever, just so you know. That's a long story that you guys from a birthday present. But anyway, what else you guys got? What do you want to talk about? We've been going. How long we've been talking? 40 minutes. Frick. Sorry. I know that's not a bad word, but I try to seem professional on the channel. I'm just talking about space rocks. Frick rocks. Multiple production problems, 4 directors fired. Well, okay, first of all, yeah, exactly. I would blame EA for EA. And, like, Star Wars already had a relationship with EA. They were already making mobile games. So that's really just them not changing something. I would not put that at her feet. And, okay, 4 directors fired. Technically, 2 of them were co-directing. So it's really, like, 3. Well, wait. Yeah, but that's, okay, so it's Lord and Miller and Trevorrow. Who was the other one that was let go? I'm not counting the Boba Fett movie, because I never really believed that was happening. And, like, really, I think Trevorrow left under less excruciating circumstances. Yeah, Josh Trank, but, like, I don't count the Boba Fett movie. Like, I don't believe that was ever really, truly happening. Thank you. I also like my room. Happens with every movie production company. Yeah, like, Marvel had, what's-his-face, who was gonna make Ant-Man. Oh, what's-his-face, who did the movie about the guy with the vegans. Oh, it's gonna bug me. But, like, he was supposed to make Ant-Man, and they got rid of him. Oh, that's gonna... Please, someone know who I'm talking about. Please. It's gonna bother me. Yes, I should just say Kref. That would at least be on point. He was gonna do the 20 years spin Royce Simon Kinberg, but was let go after Fantastic Four was never confirmed to be... Okay. Edgar Wright, thank you, Darkrai! Oh! Really glad you got the reference about the guy with the vegans, or at least you just knew who was gonna make Ant-Man. That's who... I guess, like, they were attached. I don't know. That's just one of those things where I wonder how many people, like, I don't know, like, Jurassic World, which is Jurassic Park 4, was greenlit and canceled, like, 900 times. That movie was in movie limbo for a long time. I feel like stuff, like, with Josh Trank is way more common than we realize. It's just, we don't care. When it's a standalone film that is not a part of a franchise, when it's a lower, like, not expected to be the #1 film of the summer kind of movie, like, the vast majority of movies that happen, I think that stuff happens all the time, and we don't know about it, because it's not news. But when it's Star Wars, like, everything is news. And I think that's something that people don't really realize. And it seems like the Star Wars movie universe is way more chaotic than it is, because we're just paying more attention. And some of it is chaotic. I mean, Lord and Miller getting fired during production was a big thing. It's a big thing that we will probably never truly know why. But is at least not until, like, the 30-year anniversary when somebody finally says something. So, like, yeah, there's been issues, and like Trevorrow walking away, I always got the vibe that Trevorrow walking away was more because he wanted to do something with the story they didn't want to do. I don't think it was a reflection of the Jurassic World franchise. But so far it really feels like the people who haven't stayed have been the people who like didn't want to make what they wanted them to make, which is funny to me because Rian Johnson basically like turned everything on its head. And yet he didn't get fired. He got a whole new trilogy. You're not into Edgar Wright films, but you've seen most of them. That's fair. I have not seen a lot of them, to be completely honest. You wish Lord and Miller could have been given a second chance to make the spinoff they can direct and write. And, you know, maybe they just weren't the right fit for Solo. I don't know, because, like, I like Lord and Miller. I love the Lego movies. I like some of the other stuff they've done. I don't really have any ill will towards them, per se, but I also kind of wonder, because, like, what I love about the Lego movies is they're so meta, which I suppose Last Jedi was kind of meta, but like they're more about the genre that they're getting made in, and they're just kind of like hanging loose and having fun. And I just wonder if maybe their style didn't really fit with what Lucasfilm was trying to do. I don't know. Refilming entirely, yeah, no, that was a big thing. And like Rogue One had a lot of reshoots, but that was intentional directing style, I think. Got the vibe too. Nothing to do. Yeah. Loved. Oh yes, Spider-Verse. That's the other thing they did. Spider-Verse is a freaking did it again. Griffin, perfect movie. It's funny that I'm basically using the actual Star Wars F-bomb instead of the earthly stand-in for F-bomb, as if that's better, but whatever. It's really not a big deal. I just try to control myself a little bit better. Being live is much harder because I can edit that out in a vlog. No, Spider-Verse is so good. It's so good. But again, that's another movie that took a genre and turned it on its head. And it's another movie where Spider-Verse was in its own universe. Like, it was playing with Spider-Man, and it was in that Spider-Man universe, but it was playing in its own canon, and it was intentionally messing with canon. And it was, like, making references to other Spider-Man canon, but in this kind of, like, offshoot sort of way. And I just wonder if... How do I put this? Like, if you watch The Avengers is an MCU film. It didn't... I mean, granted, there weren't that many at that point in time. Age of Ultron does this too. But I know Age of Ultron, some people don't like it as much. But, you know, it feels like an MCU film, but it also feels like a Joss Whedon movie. But the Joss Whedon parts, to me, never overtook the MCU feeling. It felt like an MCU film with Joss Whedon flavor. And I kind of wonder if what Lord and Miller were doing wasn't a Lord and Miller movie with Star Wars flavor instead of a Star Wars movie with Lord and Miller flavor. Now that's speculation. I'm not claiming that's what happened. That's if you were like, Jess, you have to right now make your guess as to what happened. You're forced to write on a piece of paper what you think happened. That's what I would write. But I have no evidence of that. Whoa, I am so behind in chat. This is great. I love it. I genuinely do. I think someone reliable said the Lord and Miller were going to make it Solo very dark. Interesting. Because I thought it was the opposite. I thought they were making it too funny. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't... Everything I was hearing was hearsay, so... Whatever it was, I think they were just making something that was just not what they wanted. You think... Yeah, I think Solo was going to be meta, too. Oh, like that meta? Like Han knowing his... Well, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the line between what I was thinking and what There's Another was thinking. Because I would see that, and I would assume that's like breaking the fourth wall funny. But maybe it was dark, but also breaking the fourth wall. Sarge, if that cheesy grin is at the Mona Nikita, you are very behind, but that's okay. The reason they were fired was because they were trying to make a comedy film. See, yeah, that's what I'd heard. They refused to cooperate with the Kasdans and Lucasfilm, so they got... That's what I heard. But again, like, that could all just be shade. Like, no one really knows. Hey, we're a Star Wars group. It makes sense to use the story. That's true. We are a Star Wars group. It makes sense for me to say Griff. That's true. But I think Lord was satirical. Yes. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think their movie would have been a little bit too self-aware. Those were the rumors before the movie came out. After the movie came out, it was okay. And see, I didn't follow the rumors after the movie came out, so I don't know, but it's possible. The rumors were like, it was like, oh, like Jim Carrey funny. And see, again, that's the thing, is you can say it's a comedy, but a dark comedy, and then both rumors are true, so I could see that. And it's unfortunate because I would have loved to seen I would still love to have seen Star Wars with a Lord and Miller flavor, but I think for the first movie, making it too self-aware was, I mean, like what Ron Howard did is what I think the film needed to be. And like, don't I love Solo? I could sit down and watch Solo on a loop. I totally understand people's problems with the movie. I totally understand the systemic problems that people have with the movie. I don't have any shade for anyone who has like a legitimate gripe with Solo. But I really like what Ron Howard did it with it myself. And I certainly would like to see those characters again. I wonder if Big Bang comedic method of Lord and Miller was too chaotic for the Yeah, yeah, like I just think it was the wrong time for something that would be aware. Yeah, no, it's cool. There's another. I have that problem a lot too. But regardless, I want to see them given a second chance. Well, and there's room for that. I don't know if there's bad blood or not. If there's not, there's definitely room for it. Um, but like, okay, hold on. I can go back to OBS now because I've caught up with chat. Hey, John, welcome. Good to see you. Another fellow Star Wars content creator popping in the chat. So good to see so many of you here. But I heard one of the Marvel Disney Plus shows, I don't know, is supposed to be like a variety anthology kind of show, like a what if show. The only ones that I know are confirmed are Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then the Loki show, and I think we're getting a Vision and Wanda show. But I heard tell rumors of a what if show. And they could do like a Star Wars Infinities show. Like Legends Canon had Star Wars Infinities, which was stuff that got published that was specifically not canon. So like Tag and Bink falls under that. They had Star Wars Infinities, like a comic series, like it was like a retelling of A New Hope where the Death Star isn't destroyed, I think, and then like Empire Strikes Back where the rebels are defeated on Hoth, like what if tales. And they could do like a Star Wars show like that that's all like either like that, completely different retellings, or something like Legends of Luke Skywalker. And you could bring in people who could make meta on the nose stuff like that in that kind of setting, and that would be the right place to do it. What do I want, or what you want to know what the do I want to know what the 2020 spinoff was? Because it's oh, you mean like what the Trank one was going to be? Because I don't think we would. I want to know, like, if they told us. It's possible they didn't know. It's possible that they had him working on a couple different ideas, to be honest. I mean, Boba Fett's very plausible, but that's the thing too. Like, people are on their weekly kick of KOTOR movies getting announced. And they very well could get announced. They very well could be the Benioff and Weiss series. I don't know. I don't think it's confirmed, but like we don't know. And there's always the Obi-Wan movie or that. Yeah, it's likely just brainstorming. Yeah, and yes, that is a good point. Josh Trank's film could have led to the Mandalorian series. That is a fantastic point. 100% good point. But the thing is like that. They're always brainstorming. They're always working up scripts. Like, again, this is another thing that happens in Hollywood is people just write scripts. And people write a lot of scripts that never see the light of day. Like, people write full, complete, multi-drafted things that just don't ever get greenlit. And I feel like with Star Wars right now, they probably have people who are like, pitch us a Lando movie, pitch us a Boba Fett movie, pitch us an Obi-Wan story, and go from there. And then they have it like on retainer, like if they need it. So like I think there's tons of stuff getting developed. I think there's a ton of stuff that we all want getting developed. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And in development doesn't necessarily mean everything we want it to mean. What do I think of Colin Trevorrow? I have very little frame of reference of Colin Trevorrow. I have seen Jurassic World, which I'm lukewarm on. I never watched Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I will probably not watch the next Jurassic Park movie, to be honest. And that's fine. Like, I know a lot of people love those movies, and it's totally fine if they do. It's just not for me. And I've never seen anything else he's done. So, I don't know. I personally don't put a lot of blame. Did he do Fallen Kingdom? I feel like somebody else did Fallen Kingdom. I can IMDb that real quick. You guys might know, but I'll check really quick. But like, I don't really, to the extent that Jurassic World wasn't really my jam, I don't really blame him for that, because like I said, that movie was in development limbo for so long. Just so long. I think that movie was as good as it could be for what it was, if that makes sense. Let's see here, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I clicked on Jurassic World instead of Fallen Kingdom. Who made it? Yeah, director was Jay Bayona. It was not him, but he wrote Fallen Kingdom, or one of the writers on Fallen Kingdom. Okay. He wrote but didn't direct. Okay. I should just trust you guys to know all of the things. Really, we're just here for me to talk and you guys to know things. That's pretty much how Port Haven stream goes, and I love it. I think it's great. I thought the first Jurassic World was great. See it as the only good sequel to Jurassic Park. Oh, no. I like Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. I'm a purist when it comes to the Jurassic Park movies. When I was a kid, like 4 years old, I was obsessed with Jurassic Park, and I wasn't allowed to watch it because it was so scary it made me cry, and my parents were sick of like dealing with me crying all day or like not going to bed because I was afraid. So I was allowed to watch the movie, but I could only watch the scene, like when it started raining in the movie, I had to turn it off. And so I was obsessed with the movies. When I was a kid, I was actually more into Jurassic Park than I was Star Wars, and I wanted to be a paleontologist like Dr. Grant. And I really liked it. It was super in, like, years. I've actually been on a dinosaur dig. I went to one when I was in high school. Really, really liked it. And then Jurassic World came out, and I liked Jurassic World the first time I saw it, and just it kind of fell flat for me with subsequent viewings. And it was just like, I would have liked it on its own, but like the making the raptors like super soldiers to fight terrorists in the mountains and stuff, like I just thought that was so like, why is this here? It just felt like they were trying to make the movie too topical, and like, it's a movie about dinosaurs, it doesn't need to be topical. And like the mad scientist thing at the end and everything, like it was just I wasn't a fan of some of the stuff, even though like I really liked the dinosaur fights in it. And like, I don't know, it just fell away from me. Like, I don't have salt. Like, I'm not sitting here making, like, I hate Jurassic Park movie, like, rage videos for 20 minutes. But I just kind of fell away with it. I actually wrote a blog about this on Port Haven, if you guys are interested. If you go to port-haven.com, and, like, search YodaBauer and Jurassic Park, or just search Jurassic Park or something, you might find it if you have an interest in it. But I used it to talk about Star Wars, and I used it to talk about why I think some folk aren't as into the sequel trilogy, which I'm super into the sequel trilogy. And I talked about how it's not so much that I'm less interested in, or no, it's not that the Jurassic Park World movies are like less good than the other Jurassic Park movies. It's just I'm different now, and I'm less into stuff. I got more into Star Wars, and that, you know, it's possible it's not that Jurassic Park is different, it's possible I'm different, and that maybe some of the people who don't like the sequel trilogy as much, maybe they just can't see that they're different, right? And I say that both as, like, a way for us all to self-reflect, but also a way to maybe not judge somebody who just doesn't like the sequel trilogy for perfectly legitimate reasons. I mean, people who don't like it because of bigoted reasons, that's a completely different thing. But yeah. And we don't have to end after an hour, Stuart. If you guys are having fun, I'm good to keep talking for a little while longer. You can ask all the questions you want. You have one last one. Do I miss LucasArts? Do I want to see return to it if possible? I miss regular Star Wars games. So, I mean, I miss the LucasArts logo. The thing's pretty cool. I think it's unfortunate that since 2015, or really since the Disney buyout in 12, we've had like 2 Battlefront games and a bunch of mobile games. Like, that's just weird to me. I feel like there should be a Star Wars game every year. You know what I mean? I really hope Fallen Order is good. Both because I hope it's good and because I want to see more Star Wars games like it. So that's a thing. Paleontology. Like I said, I love paleontology as a kid. I was super into it. There was a museum, I don't know if they still do it, but there's a museum out of Chicago called Burpee, and they funded their dinosaur digs by having you pay to go along, basically. And it was so awesome. We went to the Hell Creek Formation out west in Montana, and I spent a week helping with the dinosaur dig, and it was really awesome. I would, if you're interested in paleontology, like seriously interested, I would look around some museums, especially smaller ones. They might have similar programs. Mine was called Highway to Hell Creek, but it would be that specific museum. But you might be able to find something that will give you a chance to like experience it. Why Jurassic World is the worst. Part 2 of 8, length 3 hours 23 minutes. I mean, yeah, I don't have the energy. I'm not sure there is a movie I hate enough to do that. I mean, maybe, but I'm not sure there is. How am I enjoying? I am enjoying the NJO. So I got through the first time I read the NJO. I got through Dark Journey, which I think is the first novel. I don't know if this shakes my microphone. I'm sorry if it's making a noise. But I'm like bouncing my leg up and down. I got through Dark Journey, which I think is the first book after Star by Star, and I was liking it. And then the only reason why I stopped reading is I was in college and I didn't have time to pleasure read. And then it just, so much time had passed, I'd forgotten too much. But I enjoyed it as much as you can enjoy everyone dying. I enjoyed it the first time through. We're still in the books I've read before. I am enjoying it overall. I still don't like the James Luceno books. Those were a struggle bus for me, but I've liked every other one. We're actually on Balance Point right now. Django is mostly through it. No surprise, I have started it. So I would say you're a much faster reader than me, so you should read Leia first and then read Balance Point with us. But we're gonna do Balance Point. I think we're gonna do Balance Point and read the Recovery ebook, which I've never read, for our next NJO stream. I think that's the plan. While I understand why it closed, it was still a terrible decision. EA scum. That's fair. I mean, EA has not been impressing people lately. Yep, EA just a bunch of monies. Yeah, so I got like that far through the NJO. There needs to be more options, amount of developers for Star Wars games right now. EA is a company that has no incentive to create many good Star Wars games. And what's weird is I just feel like Star Wars games are just a no-brainer to make money. Like, even if you're just making really low-key games, like why not? Welcome back, Skynobi. We're talking about like everything. We're talking about EA right now in video games, which I know you are excited for that type of thing. We're talking about, do we miss LucasArts and like regular releases? You only have 4 Legends novels, can't find the motivation, and that's fine. I really like a lot of, I mean, I was into Legends well before the Disney buyout, so I was already invested in them. So I haven't given up reading them. Don't have Recovery. Is Recovery I feel like is like in the Star by Star paperback maybe? If not, I'm gonna have, it's an ebook, so I might just have to buy it off of iBooks. I'd rather have something like in a book I can put on a shelf, but because I have a problem, if you haven't noticed. But want to say it was published in one of the paperbacks, and it might be Star by Star. I don't actually have Star by Star in paperback. I'm going to have to buy it on paper before we get to it. BRB, no worries. It's included in the paperback of one of the books. Oh, maybe Dark Nest. Ooh. Not a ooh, that's not a reflection on Dark Nest. I'm going to have to buy books that take place way after anything I'm reading right now. It should be in the Star by Star paperback. Okay. Why I am like I'm delaying buying the Star by Star paperback because I have a bunch of the NJO books pre-Legends, and I'm not like, if you notice here on my shelf, I have 3 of the Old Republic novels that have these nice Legends banners on them next to all of my other books that don't, and I'm like, am I going, like, can First World YodaBauer with her First World problems handle owning the NJO books where some of them say Legends and some of them don't, or am I gonna have to buy like used paperbacks that are in decent condition? So I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm gonna want to get the paperbacks. Boba Fett: A Practical Man is a NJO story, but it's in Legacy of the Force Sacrifice. Of course it is. Practical Man is an NJO story? Did it come out with the NJO? Or does it just take place during the NJO, but it ties into Legacy of the Force? Side note, Jaina should have ended up with Kip. I mean, that's the way it was feeling in the books up until the point where I read. I always figured she ended up with what's-his-face, because I've read the Legacy comics, and there's the Fell Empire, and they're like all Force sensitive, so I'm like, oh, I guess this is how this worked out. You don't have any Legends banner books yet? Yeah, like I said, I have these 3, and then I have the Old Republic Annihilation and Dawn of the Jedi on paperback, and they both have Legends, but they're not up on my shelf because I have not read them. I have a shelf that's displaying a bunch of books that is below my chair, so you can't see it. But that's where I keep all of the books I haven't read yet, and then I display the ones I have. Came out after, but it takes place early in the war. Okay, noted. It is available as ebook. Got it. That's fair. Because if it takes place as a part of the NJO series, I might have to go back and read it. I'm just really not wanting to read anything by Karen Traviss if I can avoid it, to be fair. But that's a controversial topic. No, I'm excited to keep going through the NJO, and I'm excited to finish it. I know the broad strokes. Like I said, because I've read some stuff. Well, I've read some comics that take place after. So I know how some stuff goes. And then just general, like, reading Wikipedia articles, being around Star Wars fans, I know how stuff goes down. But, like, I don't really know the context of a lot of things. So I'm excited to, like... I feel like it was always something that was kind of missing in my Legends fan cap to say that I never finished NJO. And then, assuming I'm still going, after NJO, I want to read Dark Nest, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi. Technically, the last novel is Crucible, right? That's the last novel in the timeline, and it's like a Han, Luke, Leia book. You have most of the Legends books, got the majority of them at antique malls, flea markets, used bookstores. Yeah, I live by, well, not by, but within reasonable driving distance of a store called Schuler's, and Schuler's is like a Barnes & Noble, but a smaller chain, and my Schuler's has a big used book section that I need to peruse more, because I actually get quite a few Star Wars books in. I got a couple of good things from there. I don't know if any of them are in reaching distance, though. Not that that's ever stopped me before, but I got... What's right here? Hold on. High quality stream here, guys. Where did it go? I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Here, I found it. Crisis averted. I got this from there, which is the illustrated screenplay of The Phantom Menace. Got this there pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure it's out of print. I was pretty excited. I keep meaning to read this at some point. But it's the screenplay of The Phantom Menace filled with concept art. Oh, somebody leaving? What's going on? I have to head off. Well, thank you for being here, Stuart. It was good talking to you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I know it's getting later in the day where you are. You were not close to any stores, had to get your collection online, especially, the Science Fiction Book Club hardcovers. Your collection is insane. Like, it is so good. If you guys are on our Discord, Dark Rise posted a bunch of pictures in our Discord. It's so good. It's really, really impressive. I mean, I live, my city, like where I live, I only have a small bookstore that's also a coffee shop. But they'll order in anything I need. But so will Amazon, so there you go. But I live within a reasonable driving distance of a pretty large city. So that's good. So I'm pretty blessed, that's true. 90% of Star Wars content is out of print. It makes it hard, I tell ya. You got more books this week, you're double stacking now. I know, and I'm gonna have that problem too, where I just like run out of stuff, because I got a bunch of Star Wars Adventure comics I haven't put up yet because I haven't read them. I'm gonna need to make room. The new Afra arc, Afra 5 is coming out on trade this month, and I'm definitely gonna be getting that eventually as I get caught up on comics. And that's the thing with Legends, I read a bunch of Legends comics, but I read them all from the library, so I don't own very many Legends comics, which I'm actually kicking myself on, because now they're so hard to get some of them. Marvel is reprinting a bunch of them, but I wish I had kept more. Most expensive you have it. Wow, 300? Is that one of the science fiction hardcovers? Or you have like something swankier? You've been double stacking your books for years, have a small bookshelf, that's fair. Tracking them down is hard. It is. It is. That is true. Oh man. Okay, yeah, it's a science fiction book. That's cool. I did not realize that like every Legends book, like every Batman book was in hardcover until you told me that. Oh, I can see why that's valuable actually. Because I feel like that was right towards the end. There wouldn't have been very many copies of it. And it has a very, very dedicated fan base. It's not like Courtship of Princess Leia, where there's probably not that dedicated of a fan base. Wish you could get a new hardcover of Tarkin and New Dawn. You can't find them anywhere, and they're really? Dang, those are new. They were sold together, which doesn't really help you if you're trying to have like one of each. But there's a collection that I might get on paperback. Actually, I could get them on paperback because I don't own either Tarkin or New Dawn. It's called like Rise of the Empire or something like that. And it has both of those novels and a bunch of short stories. And it's the only place those short stories are published, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if that helps you, because you might want those books individually. Why are they so expensive? That's weird. Did they just not make a lot? And welcome, Bear, thank you. And yes, please guys, if you are watching and you have not yet liked or disliked the stream, I would highly appreciate it if you would do so. It would mean a lot. It helps me figure out how many individual viewers I had, and tells YouTube that you really like us. Recently gotten the Jedi Academy trilogy books on tape at your church's rummage sale for like $1. Cassette. Wow. That's cool though. Like that is obscure. I like it. I need to go to more stuff like this. Like, hey man, YouTube treats it the same. Like all those YouTubers out there, they're making money off of hate watches. That's why you should never watch channels just because you hate them. Hello. Yes, I'm glad you can make it. We're just shooting the breeze, talking the Star Wars, whatever comes to mind, that sort of thing. Ooh. Every now and again, I'll go on these big long talks, and then suddenly I'm like, I'm dehydrated. I think I am dehydrated. That's just a side note for you guys. I have a cassette that's not as cool somewhere of them reading this book. Hold on. I have this book, the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace movie storybook, which is pretty great. And I also had a cassette tape that read the book to you. So it's like, it's the movie and like pictures from the movie. My favorite picture is not actually from the movie. It's the back page. And it's just like Obi-Wan and Anakin with like Qui-Gon looming over them over the mountainside. It's like that meme, you know, the guy like in the cowboy hat who's like, ah! I don't even know what that's from, but it's like Qui-Gon doing that. But like this, even as a kid, I thought this picture was funny because it's just so dramatic, and it's like not even in the movie. I don't even know what that background is. But anyway, I have that on cassette, and I used to sit and listen to it. Another funny thing is, when I was a kid, I couldn't read. That hasn't changed a whole lot, but I could read less. And the line where Shmi is like, my place is here, my future is here, I couldn't read, and I thought she said furniture. So I thought she was telling Anakin she can't leave because her furniture was there, and it did not make sense to me as a child. And then one day I learned to read, and it was better. Used to have those for Toy Story 2 and Tarzan. Nice. The Jimmy Barnes thing. I don't know what that is, but it always makes me smile. You have Dark Saber on cassette. That's cool. I have a bunch of the Legends books on audiobook because a friend of mine had them all and like gave them to me, and I've tried listening to some of them. That's how I got through Jedi Eclipse, is I knew I was gonna have a hard time reading it, and so I listened to it on my way to and from Chicago for Celebration. And then I tried listening to the audiobook for Yoda Dark Rendezvous to follow up having just listened to Dooku Jedi Lost, and couldn't do it because the narrator was good, like no shade on the narrator, but his Yoda voice wasn't great, and the whole book's about Yoda, and I made it like 3 minutes and I gave up. Things Anakin hates: sand and furniture. Exactly. Every time so this is, I'm not going to fully explain this because it is not kid appropriate, but if you've ever seen the movie Soylent Green, that movie forever changed what I understand furniture to be, and it makes me giggle a little bit whenever I hear the word. If you don't know what I mean, just Google the movie Soylent Green and furniture, because I don't feel like explaining it on this channel, but it does make me giggle. You have Dark Empire 1 and 2 on CD. Controversial opinion: Sacred Citadel is your favorite Star Wars mainline arc. You mean Screaming Citadel? Or is there a new one? I'm really behind on the Star Wars mainline, so it's possible that you meant Sacred and there's a new one, but I'm wondering if you meant Screaming Citadel. Wish that Loraka art in the Star Wars issues weren't awful. The Afro arches are beautiful. Yes! I think then we are talking about Screaming Citadel. Yes, Screaming Citadel. I have Screaming Citadel because it has Afra in it. I agree. I actually don't mind some of the art in it. To be honest, it was like before he got like really, really photoreal. I love the Afra art. Like, you're spot on there. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it when it's human faces. It looks kind of funky. Like, that's fair. But like some of the other stuff he does, his art style I think works really well for special effects. Like, where's an example? Like here, this panel. I like how this looks a lot. Like, I like what Luke with Rue fighting the lady looks like. And I actually don't like that in the Afra arc as much. I like it, but I think Loraka's art works better for special effects type stuff, and the Afra art works better for faces. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say. Or like, I think the first arc, like the first issue, like the Screaming Citadel issue specifically, is some of my favorite art in the comic. Like, that panel is with the rain is just incredible. I don't know who did the Citadel one. Who's my favorite character in Rebels? Well, I'm gonna cheat and say Hondo, and I say that's cheating because he's from the Clone Wars too. But like, if Hondo's there, Hondo's my favorite. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. In terms of Rebels characters, though, like Rebel-centric characters, probably Zeb. I would say, like, of the Ghost crew, Zeb's my favorite. And I really liked Callus a lot. I like the two of them together a lot. I liked that arc. I need to rewatch a bunch of Rebels for many reasons. One of which, I have my Redemption series going, and I want to talk about Callus in that Redemption series because I think his arc is very important. I love Sabine, obviously. Like, I like the whole Ghost crew, except Ezra's fine, I guess. I like hearing about your opinion on Lucino's writing. While you're a big fan of his writing, is this your different opinion? Well, and I try not to be too salty about it. I feel bad because on the in my Discord, I'm a little bit more blunt in the Discord than I am on the channel, in full disclosure. One of our longtime Port Haven members, who was a member on Port Haven before it was even like everything it is today, really likes Plagueis, and I felt bad because he was like, Plagueis, one of the best books ever, and I'm like, no, Plagueis is terrible though. And I'm like, this was online, and this probably sounded too blunt, but like, I don't have any qualms with people liking Lucino. I get why people like him, but like, he just drives me crazy. But it's different things for different people. Like, it's important to have authors with different styles because then there's a book for everybody. But yeah, Lucino, like, I don't know. And it's funny too, because I don't have like, Catalyst is so good. Catalyst is one of the ones I've reread. Click the dislike button. Again? You've already disliked it once. Catalyst by Lucino is one of my favorite new canon books. I love Catalyst. And it like, I'm so glad I read it too before Rogue One. I mean, it's fine to read anytime, but like, it adds so much to that. The scene at the beginning between Galen and Krennic has so many more layers, and then like Jyn dreaming about being a little girl and seeing Krennic and her dad like having a toast. Like, so many of those scenes have so much more meaning when you read. Oh, Sin, you will like Catalyst. You 100% will. I promise you. And like, Lucino's writing style was really toned down in that one. I wonder if they asked him to because it was going to be like the lead-in novel to Rogue One, or if he just did. But that novel was so good. But then like Catalyst was everything I like about Lucino's writing, which is a very integrated story that does get the references, and oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, the movie jumped around that. And then what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like, Catalyst is everything I like about Lucino's writing. Like, he writes really good, like, his plots are solid, and like, they weave in great, really entertaining ways. Like, even when I was listening to Jedi Eclipse, I liked the intrigue. It was just because I was listening to it and I was driving in traffic, I couldn't follow it super well. But like, he can craft a really good plot, and Catalyst had that, and Catalyst had some really good pacing and all of these details. But then like, Tarkin is everything I don't like about Lucino's writing, which is just insane amounts of descriptors that you just don't need at all. And I'm forever scarred by the first chapter being like Tarkin in spandex. I just don't even know why that chapter was there. It drove me crazy. But like, yeah, but like, Django loved that book, so what are you gonna do? But then again, he and I also have a rivalry, because I'm Team Krennic and he's Team Tarkin. So that's the thing. Let's see. I've been going almost a half hour. We'll be at a half hour in like 3 minutes, so I will probably stop this. Yeah. Oh, I've seen that. I mean, it's better than spandex. I'm just gonna say, better than spandex. Haven't read Age of Rebellion, Tarkin, but that image made it all over Twitter, along with the one of Han from the main line. But I'm probably gonna start wrapping up just because I got family stuff I got to do in about a half an hour. But are there any other parting topics before I head out? It's so nice of you guys just to hang out and chat. Like, it blows my mind that you will just sit here and talk to me, or like as I ramble, and I'm not even talking about anything specific. But yeah, as Lobot says, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I think pretty much all of you have, though. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I never have a problem with people. I actually really like it when people keep talking on Discord. There you go. I really like it when people have different opinions, and I'm usually like, I like fun debate. I'm really sad that on this day and age in the internet, you can't have a fun debate anymore. Like, now, if you say you like a thing, somebody will come in and be like, how dare you like a thing, you're stupid, and like really mean it. Where like, back in my day, when I was on the internet, I could say, I don't like it, and it was fun. And you'd be like, you're wrong, you're wrong, and then we'd just pick on each other, and it was all in good fun and good faith. And now that's not a thing anymore, and it's really too bad. We have lots of differing opinions. I mean, that's more interesting that way. If we all like knew exactly how we felt after a movie, there would be no reason for me to make a YouTube channel. So there you go. There wouldn't be a reason for several of us in the chat to have a YouTube channel. So there you go. I was giving Black Fleet Crisis last night in the parts I love. Black Fleet is one of the... I haven't read Black Fleet or the Corellian trilogy, which is kind of hurting me as I try to read the NJO, but not too badly. But those are Legends books I want to get to one of these days. One of these days, I really want to brave the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy. I've heard mixed... well, I really don't hear a lot of things, and I feel like the fact that I haven't heard a lot of things makes me think that they're probably pretty dull. Usually if something is spectacularly good or spectacularly bad, you've heard about it. I kind of want to do something like, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll read The Crystal Star, because I've never read The Crystal Star, and it's supposed to be the worst Star Wars novel. And I've read Children of the Jedi, and that's pretty darn horrible. So if The Crystal Star is actually worse than Children of the Jedi, I mean... I think I might announce that, because we're just at 700 now. I don't know if it's too early to say what I'll do when we reach 1,000. But, I might put that up there. Like, if we hit 1,000, I'll read Crystal Star and do a review of it. You like the Bounty Hunter Wars, lots of interesting lore, stuff right? Yeah. Obviously, but I don't feel... You feel like I haven't read Planet of Twilight either. So that's possible. Children of the Jedi was the one with Force Ghost sex, and I will never be able to unsee that in my mind, ever. I don't know that I can let go of it. It's bad, but people joke, but fun to joke about with people. I mean, it's like the holiday special. Crystal Star was one of your favorites, but you love books about the kids. That's fair. That's fair. I don't actually know why people don't like Crystal Star. I just know that it's I know that Crystal Star and Planet of Twilight and Children of the Jedi are usually right up there as like the worst three. A lot of people put Courtship of Princess Leia up there, but Courtship of Princess Leia is just funny. I don't know. Luke computer dating before the 200s. Ugh. Yeah, it's like there's like this Force ghost, and like she possessed the robot body of, like, how did that work? It was like the really attractive... Yes, that's what it was. Luke's really attractive student, who was described as really attractive in the book, was trying to make a robot to save her boyfriend who was dying. And I think he ended up dying anyway, or something. And then she died, the girlfriend, the hot student. And then like the Force ghost of this Jedi like embodied the student. It's just, there were so many problematic things going on at so many levels. For a great book, you're reading X-Wing Rogue Squadron. Nice! I saw that you were starting your book club of that. That is really fantastic. We meant to do something with Rogue Squadron, like, last year, and we never did, because I didn't get back through it again. I'm really bad at keeping up with Terry, because he reads books really fast, and I don't. But I liked those books. I've read through Wraith Squadron, and then I never kept going. Again, it wasn't I didn't like it, it was I got busy. I never went back to it. Luke is out of character in a lot of Legends books, I think, which is part of why people get confused about Luke. Because he's not written well in a lot of books. Same with Leia. I feel like Leia is really all over the place in Legends. And that's why I've been liking the stuff like what Claudia Gray has been doing with her. Because I feel like it's nice to finally get Leia as a character. The novel Clone with No Prisoners tries to retcon Trilogy of the Jedi stuff. Well, yeah, and of course it was Karen Travis. Karen Travis would go, what is the worst Jedi I could possibly pick? Oh, the Force Ghost one that Luke has Force Ghost sex with. That's who I should bring back into canon. That's what Karen Travis did. But anyway. Big sigh. I feel like Luke is the most out of character in Black Fleet. That's your opinion. Again, I haven't read it, so I don't know. But wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. And you now mentioned both our king and queen. Did I already mention Kevin? Oh yeah, I mentioned Jedi Lost. And Claudia Gray. Yep. King and queen. It's obligatory. I have to talk about Cavan Scott every stream. It is by Port Haven law. It is in our ordinances. I must mention things written by Cavan Scott at all times. Leia is the best in Black Fleet. Interesting. That makes me want to read it even more, actually. I think I have the Corellian trilogy, which I might read now, because of the stuff that's happening in New Jedi Order. That's fair. But like I said, I'm gonna run. I'm having a great time chatting with you guys, but I do need to get some stuff done before I have family stuff later. So, before I head out, I want to say thank you to everybody being here. I'm sorry we've been kind of slow on the uploads. I mean, not that you are all, like, basing your life around uploads from this channel or anything, but I'm sorry. Like, Django's been busy, and I've just been, I don't know. I don't know if it's the case of summer, I don't want to do anything, or what, but, like, I've been having, I don't know. I need to find something to freshen some stuff up. So I've some kind of different ideas for things that I really want to do. You've been basic. Well, I'm sorry that I've let you down then. There's another. But if you guys ever have video ideas... Oh, hold on. Why is it not letting you show that? There you go, Darkrai. I don't know why it wouldn't let that pop up. You are contractually obligated to mention Kevin Scott at all times to get free... Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, because I've been busting... Ooh, speaking of shade... Yeah, I'd love to get free books. I don't think he actually has the power to do that, though. That's on me to actually start asking Del Rey and Disney for free books, which I've been too chicken to do. But he has been giving us interviews, because he's a good dude. But no, that's funny. Oh, boy. I've been working real hard as a fan. That's a perfect place to leave it. Thank you guys so much for being here. And for having a good time here. And for really being the reason why I keep doing this. Because if... I don't know. Thank you, I guess is where I'm at. But I will talk to you guys soon. We will probably... There will be a stream next week. We'll probably be back to StreamCast. If we're not back to StreamCast, I will do something like this again. I'm going to try to stream Empire at War again sometime this week or weekend. I don't know if there's going to be a video release this week otherwise. But I will try to do at least one more live stream this week. And then hopefully next week we'll get back to normality as much as we're normal around here. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. And like I said, there's a link to the Discord in the description if you ever want to drop in and leave suggestions on video content you'd like to see, or tell me how we can make our content better. But thank you, and bye!